Back on Morning Line, it's our final segment this morning with new Metro Vice Mayor Jim Shulman. If you want to join in the conversation, we can take a few of your phone calls. We go up until just a little bit before 9. 737-7587. It's good to have Jim on. Let's go to Tony next.
Okay.
We've got. All right, Tony. What is on your mind, Tony?
Hey, how you doing? Good morning.
Good morning, Tony.
I'm trying to get clarification from the mayor himself. He told me on one of your shows, same channel, last night if I had a problem with the police complaint, go out to Murfreesboro Road. I did that, and they gave me the runaround and they played the tic-tac-toe game. Who's going to investigate why they didn't investigate when I got robbed? I still have yet to hear back from them. It's going on 2 months. They didn't even show me a lineup. They didn't even ask me to look at pictures. They didn't ask me to do nothing. They just said it's fraud or whatever. I'm trying to figure out why did they sit on their hands. This person, he could have robbed a whole bunch of people. Matter of fact, one of the guys, suspect, was on TV that robbed somebody and throw rocks off the bridge downtown 8th Avenue.
Okay, so Tony's called in before, and he oftentimes has issues sometimes with law enforcement. Sounds to me like, and I didn't know this, Tony, you hadn't mentioned that to me unless I forgot it, that he had gotten robbed, and I think he's frustrated. He hasn't heard back. Now, you're not over there in CID. You know, they deal with a lot of cases, but what do you say? Is this something the Oversight Committee would even look at if you were to?
Well, not necessarily unless somebody believed that there was some, they're looking at misconduct on behalf of police officers. But I do think, I mean, what we're trying to do is get to a system, I know with, and this is outside the police spectrum, but, you know, people call in and they have a problem with codes or, you know, trash pickup or something or a street or whatever. You can call and they have the new Hub Nashville system. You can report it and then you can track it.
Sure.
So what Tony's talking about is the same thing. He's filed some type of complaint. He wants it investigated and he would like somebody to call him back and tell him where it is. So Tony, the best thing I can tell you is, I mean, again, you've got a specific situation. You can keep calling the police or you can call me and I can call the police and see if they'll give you a call back and let you know. Who knows? I mean, you know these cases. I mean, we were talking before we went on the air, crime issue. A lot of concerns and a lot more as the city grows. We have more crime, and so the police have a lot of stuff going on, and they may just not have been able to pull anything off on this case. But you know, 615-584-1082. Tony, you're welcome to call me, and we'll send it over. But again, I don't know exactly where it is. Yeah,
it's hard. What this tells me is law enforcement means well, and I think you hit it on the head. I can't even imagine how many calls they have. I mean, hundreds, and on a weekly basis and daily basis. But I've heard from several people who maybe, even a friend of mine whose son was carjacked. Now, he wasn't hurt, left the scene, but he was at the scene waiting like for an hour for someone to come and talk to him. And I think at that point, maybe law enforcement came to the conclusion, well, he's not hurt, scenes happen, the guy's gone, we'll get to him, maybe they had more important things to do. I think this gets to the bottom line of what's it going to take to get more police officers and how many more do we need? Because you're right, there are two, in my opinion, big negatives for the city that eventually are going to start hurting what we attract here. That's traffic, one, but two, and it's even bigger than that, is crime. Some of these incidents start happening and making national news, and we have made national news on some of this. Nashville's going to get, as some cities have, if you're not careful, a reputation as a dangerous city. It's not there yet, but it's getting there. Every morning, Jim, the exception to the rule, and I'm here doing, and I know you're a loyal Channel 5 viewer, and I really appreciate that.
That's right. I watch all the stations.
We watch Channel 5. Anyway, the exception to the rule is when I come in and there's not a shooting. That's almost newsworthy now. Is guess what, folks? No shooting overnight. Because the norm is a shooting somewhere in Metro overnight. When I first started here back in 1995, I mean, there was a huge story if there was a shooting overnight.
Right.
Now it's the norm.
Right. So now I'm going to get on my soapbox.
Okay, please do. So, go, shoot.
You know, I grew up in Johnson City.
Okay.
We didn't have crime. I mean, if it was something really minuscule. Nashville has grown into a big city with big city problems, and it is the norm. And, you know, you look in the paper, you watch the news, and, somebody got shot, somewhere in the city, and it's further back in the news. Somebody was shot and killed. I mean, that's major. That's a major problem in a city. And it has become the norm. You're right. I mean, again, if you look in the paper, it'll be, buried back in the back,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Especially if tourists are getting victimized.
oh, and so the situation when somebody was shot and killed, in front of the Country Music
Hall of Fame. Yep.
That has ramifications in lots of ways. First of all, somebody visiting the city, somebody gets shot and killed in front of the Country Music Hall of Fame in our tourist area.
Not good.
For the whole city perspective, not good. But the fact that somebody was shot and killed is not good.
Yeah.
The fact that we have residents that are shot and killed basically every day, not good. They're a 14-year-old kid.
By a 14-year-old.
By a 14-year-old. Not acceptable. And so the question is, how do we deal with it?
Now, I don't know if the only answer is more law enforcement, but it does seem like they need more police to keep up with the growth of the population.
Right.
I don't know, is Chief Anderson asking for that? I know he always needs more money, but what else do they?
Well, I think they're always trying to do a better job. And again, we talked about Community Oversight Board. Push that to the side for a minute. We respect the police and respect the work that they try to do. But, for a city growing this fast, with that, I mean, you talked about not coming down on a Saturday night. I mean, like I said, all kinds of problems last Saturday night. People couldn't get out of there. I drove through there because I had to drop my wife off at something. And it's like, where did these people come from? And, you had police officers down there trying to get the traffic under control. And, I hate to say this, but I mean, it's almost like a free-for-all sometimes with the driving. And I probably need to be more careful too, but people are just, running red lights and going through plus.
Right.
And now you've got, with all respect, you've got now these people on, the scooters.
Scooters. Have you taken one yet?
I have not.
You haven't tried one. If you do, wear a helmet, Jim.
Wear a helmet. Okay.
Okay, be careful.
But now you've got them driving through, and so.
Well, with everything else, the pedal taverns and everything else that's down there, the horse buggy carriages on a Saturday night, it all makes for quite a mess.
Well, so I try to stay on the periphery if I have to get down there.
All right, let's go to Mark next on line 3. Mark, good morning. Hi, Mark.
Well, the good thing is y'all have touched on exactly what's good and bad about Nashville. Nashville is growing so fast. We've got all these big city problems now. And it's going to take a strong council, somebody's got to really take a hold and say, look, we've got to do something about this traffic situation. We've got to do something about, the increased crime. As you become a big city, it's great that everybody's got jobs and all, but you have all the big city problems all of a sudden. It's like you were talking about getting a Super Bowl in here. Our stadium is nowhere near big enough for them to let us have a Super Bowl. I think there was an article a few years ago said, we were one of the smaller stadiums in the NFL right now.
Yeah, they might have to add seats. I think we're in the 76,000 seats, something like that.
68,000.
Was it 68? Is it 68? It's under that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they would have to expand it, but yeah, who knows?
Just think of the increased traffic to get those folks in.
Yeah.
You've got the soccer stadium. They put it out there at the wrong place because can you imagine 29,000 people trying to go under that tunnel on Wedgewood to get to the field? They didn't think about that at all. So there's a lot of. The good thing is it's good problems in a way because we could be like Detroit and trying to figure out how to rebuild the city.
Well, he's right. I mean, yeah, we're not rebuilding the city. We're just growing. We're adding to it, And
well, I was thinking about what Mark was saying in terms of crime and traffic. I don't think, we talked about transit before, and we have to wait a year after the render before we can put another one on there. And obviously we're not ready to put anything else on there yet. But I don't think you stop looking at ways to deal with traffic. So if you come to certain intersections, and probably have done this, and the one I'm thinking about is, I think it's 8th Avenue, and I guess it's Wedgewood at that point. If you come off 65 and you end up on, so there's traffic built up everywhere.
Yep.
Okay, and the lights are, I think the lights are timed to do the best they can, but traffic gets built up. There are no right-hand turn lanes. So if you get in the lane and there's a car in front of you that's going to go straight, which is allowed, but everybody else is turning right, you can actually clear off that traffic if you built right-hand turn lanes.
Yep.
So one of the things is, shouldn't we be looking at that?
Sure.
Synchronization of lights. I know Megan Berry talked about
Yeah.
that. We need to make sure that that's working, because I still think, I mean, I come down Charlotte in the morning, and it's like, why is this light green and the one ahead of me is red?
They can work that, right.
You know, how do you work that? And then it's the downtown situation. You know, one of the things I would love with this new innovations committee is, and I know this has been talked about before, but what a mess. What a mess. And is there some better way to deal with, there are so many people down there during the weekends. You know, can we look at shutting down some of those streets? Just the main Broadway.
Okay.
Figure out the traffic patterns, get people to direct patterns so people are dropping off.
So it's open in the middle.
So people can walk around downtown.
Okay.
I think those are the things we need to talk about and figure out what are the solutions and how do we deal with some of the issues people have talked about today.
You got a lot on your plate, as council does, and that's a good thing. You're vice mayor now, Jim. All right?
That's it.
There's no greater burden than potential and the responsibility that now rests upon your shoulders.
Thank you, Nick.
Okay.
I'm going to immediately leave here and wonder about why I ran.
Yeah, you've already thought that through. Jim Shulman, Nashville's new vice mayor, appreciate you coming on, and we look forward to seeing how this city continues to grow, hopefully in a responsible way. Appreciate it, and congratulations for winning. We'll take a break.
Thank you.
Be back to wrap things up right after this, everyone. Stay with us.